now. Okay, so we're gonna look at this trailer here. Now here is I'm gonna link it to you just in case you guys want. And we're gonna look at some material of why it affects men as well. Okay, so let's see here. All right, here we go. So we have a man walking down here being overtly sexual. Why did I only pause it right there? What did that scene convey? I want you guys to look at this scene critically, and based on the information that we talked about earlier about objectification of women in video games. Now watch this trailer very, very close here. Watch this. Okay, he's walking. Look at how he's walking. And watch his pose. Okay, why is that important? Now, why does this make a difference? He's walking in such a manner. His hand is kind of near his crotch. He has got kind of a sway. His shoulders kind of come down in kind of like a cocky, aggressive kind of way. He's feeling his sexuality. He's aware that he's a sexual being. He's a sexual man. And he's confident. He's portraying that in the way he walks. This is an over-sexualization of a male character, of this man in Magic Mike. Walking, his hand on his crotch, arms down, swagger. Thank you, Gabby. Very real example of swagger. Gyrating against a cold beverage machine reciprocator. And that was an example of an over-sexualized way a man can walk. Okay, so how can we relate that towards what we saw earlier? Well, Anita Sarkeesian showed us a very true way in which the ways females are objectified when they walk. They talked about hip sway. Can men be objectified the way they walked? We just saw in a very real way that men can be objectified. Okay, so that is an example of body language of how that man was overtly sexualized. Okay, let's skip to 32. Okay, let's go. 32 to 41. This is timestamp. We're at timestamp 32. Okay, what's he doing now? Oh, hard. Okay, so just in that few seconds, just in 2 seconds, what did this guy do? Take a phallic-looking object, place it in his hands, and shoots it out of his hand. Okay, says hard. Wow, how is Channing look at how Channing Tatum is standing in this pose. Look at his pose. What does that tell you? What are you guys seeing here? Now watch. He's got a grinder right here, okay? Look at how he's standing. Look how the shot is framed. Emphasis on his muscles, right? Emphasis on this phallic shape that's jutting out of his crotchal region into this grinder. Let's see. Hard to resist, you guys. It's hard to resist. Okay, so we saw bulging muscles. We saw repetitive use of phallic symbolism involved in this. And if that is not an example of over objectification of a male character, I don't know what is. So we're going to go ahead and skip to more. So we saw bulging abs, bulging muscles, an exaggerated walk and with swagger. We're going to skip to 1 minute and 25 seconds. Let's go ahead and 1 minute and 25 right there. 1 minute and 25 seconds. Now, I want you guys to pay very, very, very close attention. That was water, yes. Pay very, very close attention to what she's about to say in this section, okay? So pay really close attention to what she's about to say here. Are you ready to be worshipped?
Are you ready to be exalted?
Are you ready to be exalted?
What are we?
Okay, so what was that an example of? Who was she talking to in the audience? It was primarily a female audience that this female was addressing. Are you ready to be worshipped? Are you ready to be exalted? Is that not a over-sexualization or a gender stereotype of a man he is supposed to worship a female. He is supposed to nip at her heels, be at her beck and call. There are countless examples of slogans, of sayings like happy wife, happy life. There are tons of examples that you'll see, like memes on the internet that you can find. Is like, I do what I like, of a man saying, I do what I want to until my wife tells me what to do. And that's an example of men falling into maybe a stereotype about men actually not having the power when it as much power as we like to believe. There's reoccurrent themes in this of, like I said, phallic imagery, exaggerated walk patterns, swaggered hip sway, whatever you want to call it. And I think that's an example of those things, of like the sexualization in this movie. And if you look at the this movie also has hashtags. Okay, so this movie, when they were trying to do advertising for this movie, let me read you the hashtags. It was hashtag come again. Is that not subjective? It's a play on words. Okay, and it was a play on words saying come again to the second movie, right? Come again. This is the second installment of the Magic Mike series. Come again, ladies. Come again. Because you're seeing a bunch of hot, buff dudes, or gay dudes, if that's what you're into. Come again. Because we want you to come again, and then to come again while you're coming again. That's just what that is an example of sexism perpetrating against men. We are treated as sexual objects. We are treated like this imagery of masochism that men enjoyed being dominated. You can type in like examples of like lingerie. If you were to look at like lingerie, it's typically seen as very sexy. There's a lot of fetishism that deal with male bondage and female doms. And there's a reason why that is. Now, is that sexist? I don't know. But is it a gender stereotype? May it perpetuate those stereotypes? I would say so. Maybe we fall into some of those gender roles. Possibly. Does that pertain towards sexism? That, again, is up to personal interpretation. Now, just to kind of read some numbers off to you guys, I want you guys to get a feel for some of these numbers. Okay, so like I said, this is suggestive of sexualization of males in the media, pandering to a female demographic. Okay, so this movie, I think it made $66 million domestically. Magic Mike XXL made $66 million domestically and $117 million worldwide, with a budget of only $14 million. Okay. And that means the net profit was like I think it was like $102 million of a profit they made off of this movie. So men were portrayed in that way. Now let's look at another movie that is very suggestive towards like sexualization themes. 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, so 50 Shades of Grey, it grossed $166 million. 1.2 million. No, 102 million. Sorry, it was 102 million. 102 million dollars. Okay, a lot of people came twice. Yeah, they did. Ironically. Okay, so 50 Shades of Grey made $166 million domestically. All right. It made $500 million globally with only a $40 million budget. $460 million profit off of the movie 50 Shades of Grey. Allegedly, there are 2 more sequels, I believe, in the process. 50 Shades of... yeah, be careful with that word. I almost said that. Not the funny gay guy. Who's the funny gay guy? I don't know who that is, Artie. Now, I want to show you 50 Shades of Grey. For some reason, I don't have this in my playlist. Oop. Your love's got me crazy right now. Okay, here's the trait. On this beyond, really shitty Beyonce cover of that song. Or, no wait, Beyonce did that song, but then someone covered it, and it was like really weird. Okay, we're gonna look at this. So let's go to this 50 Shades of Grey. Let's look at this. So this dude, what are we gonna see here? We're on 1 minute and 4 seconds. 1 minute and 4 seconds.
Seems like a pattern for you.
Wait, what the fuck is this? This is not the official trailer. This is... Wow, that's 50 Shades of Darker. No, 50 Shades of Grey. My bad, y'all. Wrong one. This is the one. Here we go. My bad. Here we go. 104. He's getting into the elevator with her. Okay, what's gonna happen? Here we go. Attack. Okay, so right now we are seeing overtly sexual themes. What are we seeing in here that might be alleged that can be seen as sexist towards a male? You're seeing that the male is supposed to take action. A man is supposed to attack the woman, and the female is supposed to let him in. The man is supposed to assert himself, and the woman. So men are the, in a very real sense, men are the key masters, and women are the gatekeeper. So we come at the women with the key, and the women are supposed to just let us in and dictate how far we go. So that is an example of a gender roles and how they play towards taking over a man. Okay, so now let's go to 1 minute and 12 seconds. So we're gonna see probably another example let's see, what's this? Oh wait, okay. So this is here's something that I wanted to point out. So listen, pay close attention to what we're hearing here.
I'm incapable of leaving you alone.
Then don't.
I'm incapable of leaving you alone, then don't. Okay, so he's saying, I can't leave you alone. This goes back into what we were saying, that allegedly female, these trailers were, who would you say that were their target audience? Targeting these trailers were supposed to target. I am proposing that these trailers are supposed to target females. I'm assuming that's their target audience. Now, a lot of people went to go, they released this on Valentine's Day. A lot of couples went to go see this for novelty or whatever. But I'm sure this is very much so a movie that was supposed to like get it was supposed to target cats and dogs. Okay, I think it was meant to target females and get them interested in the movie. And in that scene, what he says, I'm incapable of leaving you or of letting you go, and she says, then don't. What is my point behind highlighting this? Earlier we talked about during the Magic Mike scene. What did she say? Are you ready to be worshipped? Are you ready to be exalted? He's saying, I can't leave you alone. I'm entrapped by you. I'm enchanted by you. I put you up on this pedestal. I keep seeing this. See, we see reinforcement of more gender stereotypes pertaining to a man. A man is supposed to worship this woman and dolt on her and just be like, oh my gosh, be just completely enamored with her, an infatuated sense of love, and which can come off as creepy and oppressive in a lot of ways too. So let's skip to now 1 minute 29. Oh, what do we got here? Another shirtless scene. Go figure. Now look at this guy. Look at how he looks. Is this a typical male demographic that you will see? Is that the typical? Do I look like that if I were to take off my shirt right now? I don't look like that. Is this perpetuating male stereotypes? I would think so. I would say that there's a lot of advertisement that perpetuates the stereotypes about how men are supposed to look, how men are supposed to feel. You can look at all different kinds of examples of this, not just in movies. You can see examples of that in other popular forms of media, such as comic books. If you were to turn open a comic book, you will see very either slender, thin, lithe men that are muscular, but they're not like super thin and scraggly, or they're really buff and ripped and trim. Very often, if a person is skinny or nerdy looking, how are those people portrayed? How is a person like me portrayed? Am I representative of that population?